Hi YouTube. Welcome to my first BT12 deck profile on the channel. As you guys know, I'm gonna make things a little more clean. We are doing a subathon right now. We are doing a subathon over on my Twitch stream. It will be still live and running when this deck profile goes up. So if you guys want to come watch me on Twitch, we're doing tournaments all day. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. But I want to show you guys the first deck profile of BT12 Beelzemon X. As you guys know, I don't do deck profiles unless they're tested thoroughly and have a high win rate. We've played 11 matches with this deck list, this 54 cards, and it is 9 matches that wins out of 11 matches against the meta decks of the format. So I do think that Beelzemon, this list is very good. The whole point of the deck is to mill your cards, build a stack now, get win attacking mills, and then when your trash gets big enough, you burn them out with Beelzemon X and you win the game. It's the best deck of the format, so I'm very happy we're starting with this one. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, turn notification on Smash Potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing Digimon videos do come out. So we'll start with the eggs. The eggs are different than the BT11 version. We play 4 Yamon. When attacking once per turn, if you are a Wizard or Demon Lord, mill 2 cards. That's what it's there for. Siege Heart, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Chumario Squad. Yeah, so this deck is all about build stack, do win attacking mills. You do not get the win attacking with your Impmons, but you do get it with anything higher than that, basically. So 4 Yamon is all we need. We don't have Pokemon in deck. You don't need Pokemon in deck for this version anymore. That's it for the babies. We'll move on to the rookies with 4 Impmon X, the newest edition for BT12. This card is actually very, very good. So it evolves for 0. That's nice. On play when it's evolving, you trash an option in your hand to add back an evil, a wizard, or a demon lord. Little Martler collapsed over there. Add one of those cards back from your trash to your hand. It's more recurable than the it recurs you more things than the BT6 Empmon. But you have to discard an option to do it. Very easy to do in my opinion. And then inheritable, once returned when attacking, trash 2 cards. That's all it is. You mill 2 cards. It's one of those cards that's going to help you mill cards when you're attacking with your stack. So 4 copies of it, I believe, is mandatory. You can't play less than this. You're playing the stack version. We play 4 copies of EX2 Impmon. On play, reveal top 4. Add a Beelzemon and 9 Mako to your hand. Then Beelzemon Inheritable plus 3,000. Pretty strong. It also has a mill effect. When it's milled, you may mill up to 3 cards. Unless it was milled by this card's effect. So this card gives you additional mill power, which gets your deck in the trash a lot faster. This card's a mandatory 4 in my opinion, just because of how powerful it is. Then we play 4 copies of the Star Deck Empmon, the one that warps into Beelzemon for 3 costs from the trash when attacking. If you have 20 more cards in trash, this card is extremely powerful. You gotta play 4 of it. It's also got an ability inheritable when you mill a card, pop a 3. Pop's annoying like Gazimon type stuff or the rookies on the field. That is it for the rookies. We only play these 12. We don't play BT2 Imp anymore because it's not about little checks anymore. It's about building a stack and going that way, which the BT2 Impmon does not allow you to do. And there's no room for things like Gazimon or anything else like that. So we do play the 12 rookies. This is working just fine. This is working just fine. You love to see it. We'll move on to the champions next. We play 4 copies of Wizardmon because Wizardmon's broken. When you mill it, you get a memory, which is good. Also has a win attacking effect where you can reveal a purple card and put it on top of your deck. This is really good because A, it helps you to not deck out, but B, it allows you to get win attacking mill effects. You stack the card you want to mill, and then you mill it immediately, and you get the benefit for it. So this card's crazy. It's a mandatory 4 of my opinion. Also mandatory 4 of Wizardmon X Antibody. So this is a very important card. First of all, it has a win attacking inheritable mill 2 cards. Once per turn. Very good. Again, that's the theme, right? When they're evolving. The effect matters. So if you're not evolving on a Wizardmon or an X Antibody, you mill 2 cards when evolving. Okay? If you evolve it on a Wizardmon or have X Antibody in the sources, it doesn't do that. It just makes it a blocker for the turn. It's a very niche application that you will rarely use. It's there for the mill 2 on evolution. And while it's not as powerful as Witchmon, which we don't play anymore, it mills to an evolution, but that gives you the two more mills later on. So it's actually more valuable. than Witchmon, in the sense that it will mill you more cards eventually. So we play 4 copies of it. And that's it for the champions. We don't play anything else. No more hybrid, no Witchmon, no Dobermon, nothing like that. Deck space is really tight. And these 8 champions are all you need. They do everything you want in the deck. Nothing else matches. For ultimates, we play 4 copies of the starter deck Balmon. It gets the ability when evolving to mill 3 cards, and then also gets an on deletion if the Digimon's deleted to play Beelzemon from trash. Very good card at milling cards, and that deletion ability makes it so your opponent does not want to actually delete it. So it gives your opponent problems. It does give you an inheritable plus 2000 DP, which is very nice. And that's it. That's very good. We do not play the other Balmon, the one attacking mill 3, but we do play 1 copy of Balmon X Antibody. We need this card in the deck because we do play X Antibody. We do play 1 copy of this card. When evolving, return to hand. So you might need it to get the X Antibody back. Maybe. So we do get the 1 copy of it. Now, when Digivolving, you mill 3. If you're Digivolving on a Balmon, that does not happen. Instead, you pop a level 4 lower. Usually you want to mill 3, but sometimes popping level 4 lower is important. And that's kind of okay. That's it for the ultimates. Nothing else you need. 5 might see a little bit low for a stack deck. The deck is super consistent between Iamago, Impmons, and stuff like that. You'll be getting cards no problem. Not a big deal at all. Next. Okay. I'm going to come out and say it. I think that you still need to play 4 copies of this card. I'm not a big fan of, if it's budget, it's okay, don't worry about it. I think you need 4 for Lightsworn Theory. For those of you that don't know, Lightsworn is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck back in the day that took the format by storm. It played a card called Wolf. Wolf was a card you could not summon at all. You cannot play the card. If it was in your hand, it was dead. But if it milled from the deck, you summoned it from the graveyard. This card, when milled, summons an Impmon. It is your Wolf. And summoning your Impmons is how you win the game. You bring back Warp Impmons to warp later. You bring back the EX2 Impmon to get cards. You cannot bring back Impmon X with this, but that's not a big deal. So we have played 4 copies of it to enable us to allow and get us board presence. Now, when Digivolving, when attacking, you mill 2 cards. You can mill 2 cards. And then you pop a card, 3 cost, level 3, and then that level increases for every 10 cards in your trash. So if you can evolve and attack in the same turn, it's actually really good at popping small boards. So it's really good against decks that go wide, like the Mirror Match, like Bloomlord, and I think that's important. I think it's necessary, in my opinion. So I think 4 copies is mandatory. You will not convince me otherwise. You want mill triggers in this deck. Then we play 2 copies of Beelzemon from the starter deck when evolving mill 4. Has an alternate effect that when you mill cards, you gain memory 1 for every 10 cards in trash, and then once per turn when you mill security +1. This card is the one you really want to evolve into. This one is fine, but this one does more pressure and just does more things, honestly. So I think you just want to play a couple copies of this card to make sure you draw it. You can always add it later if you need to. Now for the big boss monster. 2 copies of Beelzemon XXX Antibody. This card's broken. This card's insane. This card shouldn't have been printed. It single-handedly makes the deck as powerful as it is. When Digivolving, if you have Beelzemon or X Antibody in the sources, you burn a card in your opponent's security for every 10 cards you trash. It ends games. It burns security. It's like Ancient Greymon. It burns security, basically, without triggering option effects. It's really, really, really good. It also burns Tamers, so that's pretty good, too. It evolves for 1 on a Beelzemon. Otherwise, it evolves for 4, which is okay. And then on deletion, if you ever get... I've never resolved the on deletion effect, because usually when you evolve this, the game's over. That turn. You may play a Digimon with Impmon in its name from your trash. So we can also play the Impmon X Antibody, which is really cool. But yeah, usually it's just there for the big burn. And then you go into your... You either swing with it, or you go blast mode for game, which we'll talk about in a second. The last level 6 we play is 1 copy of Beelstar, Beelmami. It costs 13 to play, but for every 10 cards you trash, reduce the cost by 4. It has an opponent's turn effect that whenever they attack, you mill a card. It's not once per turn. But it has an all turns 1 per turn effect that when you mill a card, you get an Impmon back from the trash. It also gains Rush. So this does allow you to randomly Impmon for game, which is really, really cool. But also, it mills cards your opponent's turn. So if you mill memory cards, you get memory. If you mill blast mode, you can pop something. You know, there's lots of stuff you can do with the Beelstar. I like it a lot. I think 1 copy is okay. For the last 2 Digimon deck, 2 copy of Beelzemon Blast Mode. So if it's milled, you pop a level 3. If it's for every 10 cards, you increase the level. So that's fine. But it's really there for the big boss monster effect. When you evolve it, unsuspend. And if you have 20 more cards in trash, gain their memory. So effectively, it's a 1-cost evolution that will allow you to unsuspend and swing for game. Usually used in tandem with Beelzemon X after you burn all their security. You evolve into this and you swing for game. That's kind of how that works. So that's all the Digimon we play. I think you need a minimum of 2 copies of this card in your deck to make sure you do see it often enough. I've got nothing else to say about it. On to the Tamers. We play 4 copies of Ai and Mako from the Beelzemon starter deck. I think you need 4. I think you should play more than 4 if the game would allow you to play more than 4. This is a card that you want to see ASAP and in multiple quantities if possible. On play for 3, real top 4 cards, add an evil, a wizard, or a demon lord. Bottom deck the rest. It's important because it allows you to add a missing piece to your hand. And then your turn, when you evolve, you suspend it to stack your deck and gain a memory. So this puts your milling effects on top of your deck so that when you mill, you actually get something good. And you get a memory for it, so it allows you to enable your turn to continue. I think less than 4 is a mistake. You don't need the Memory Tamer Iron Mako. I'm not playing any. This card's broken, though. This is also one of the cards that makes the deck what it is. If they were to limit this card, I don't think the deck's playable, honestly, in my opinion. It'll go back to being rogue status like it was before this card came out. 4 copies, that's it. Options. 4 copies of Death Slinger. This card's also really, really, really busted. The 4-cost removal card that pops level 4, and then for every 10 cards in trash, increase that level by 1. It can pop level 6 at 20 cards in trash. That's absurd for 4 memory. And then when it's milled from deck, gain a memory as well. So between the Wizardmon and this, we have 8 cards that when milled get a memory. They allow you to continue your turn. This card is broken AF. You play 4 copies of Rival's Barrage. Also a card I think you need 4 copies of. When this card is milled, you play it on the battle area, and then you delay it a turn later, or whenever you want, to add a purple Digimon or Tamer back to your hand. It gives you recursion that is definitely needed, because you will be milling your resources, you need to add them back to your hand. Which is also why we can get away with playing such low quantities of 4s and 5s, because you can add them back if you need to. It's not a big deal. Its main effect or security effect pops the Digimon at the highest level. It's around Quartzmon, very powerful card. I have nothing else to say about it. We play 2 more options in this deck. We play the 1 copy of X Antibody because it allows you to not need Beelzemon to do a Beelzemon X play if that comes up. It lets you do 1 attacking shenanigans I've done before. It's just nice flex spot in my opinion. I like it a lot as one of. Wouldn't play more than that. The last card is 7th full cluster. So this card, main effect or insecurity, pops the lowest level on your side of the field. Ideally, you'll use it when they only have 1 big card on the field, so then you just pop that. That's fine. It's there, though, also as a trash effect. When you evolve into Beelzemon X, you can bottom deck this to delete when you put on the lowest level. It's there to pop something, but it's also there as deck recursion, in case you're going to deck out, honestly. It's there for that, straight up. So I think that's really, really important. I do, before this video ends, want to say 2 things. 1, I want to play Calling from the Darkness. There's no room. I don't know what I'd take out for Calling from the Darkness, but I think the card is really good. You should consider playing it. 2nd, what makes this deck so good, why I think my Beelzemon deck is better than pretty much anyone else's, I'm going to put these cards on the table. I'm going to put certain cards here on the table right now. Certain cards. Yep, cards. Cards. More cards. And more cards. Alright. Our deck plays 22 cards that have mill effects. When nearly half of your deck has mill effects, even if you have to rely on luck a little bit, odds are you'll get something in there that you can use whenever you mill. And between Ai and Makos, you can stack your deck to have more mill effects happening. I think it's very important. The power of Beelzemon comes from its mill effects. The more milling you do, but then the more cards you mill with effects, the better your deck is that game. It's already a very strong deck. But then by milling cards that activate, it increases the ceiling of that deck. And then by milling more cards with effects, it enables you to make more powerful plays. That's why I'm playing 22 cards with mill effects. Honestly, it comes in clutch. It really, really, really comes in clutch. That's all I wanted to say for that. That's it for the deck profile. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. But thanks to this card and the X Antibody inclusions from BT12, this is the best deck of the format. You cannot change my mind on that. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.